What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Tuesday. I obviously am traveling throughout Europe right now, but I did have time to go ahead and get this uploaded before jumping on a plane yesterday. Let's go ahead and jump into the latest Eagles news and rumors, starting with that pass blocking grade in the Eagles' first preseason game on Saturday. Guess what? It was really, really good. Stoutland University strikes again. The second highest pass blocking grade of any team so far in the entire preseason was, yes, your Philadelphia Eagles. And that's without playing any starters. It was the entire second team unit to start the football game in front of Marcus Mariota, DeAndre Swift, and Rashad Penny. Then in the second and third quarter, really into the fourth quarter, they played the third string guys, the fourth string guys, and yet they still had the second highest pass blocking grade out of any team so far. Shout out to Jeff Stoutland, and shout out to all these guys who might not make it in Philadelphia because they're so stacked with the starting five, but they have some shots available on other football teams. I expect a lot of them who get cut to possibly be signed by other practice squads for other football teams. Really good job by the offensive line, giving guys like Tanner McKee plenty of time to throw the football and find a lot of receivers, especially early on in that football game. Now, over here to something I found very interesting by Nick Sirianni that he talked about yesterday is why the Eagles defense is going to remain completely vanilla the next couple of weeks. You might not have been impressed overall by the Eagles defensive game plan in the Saturday loss to the Baltimore Ravens, but Sirianni has a reason for that. Listen to this, quote, "I really don't want anyone to know that we could be doing in game 1 to game 2 to game 3. All our new wrinkles we're keeping in our pocket. We don't want to give away any answers," end quote. Now, this is not a total shock. Some teams do this. They don't go very balls to the wall, as Nolan Smith would say, in the preseason. They don't want to showcase any of their new defensive stuff. However, it's different for teams that have established defensive coordinators who have tons of tape with that current roster the past couple of seasons, right? You know what's coming whenever you play, the Jets defense, for instance. They've had Robert Saleh and their new defensive coordinator the past couple of years. However, with Philadelphia and Sean Desai, they seem to be trying to keep things as tight and close to the chest as possible because we really don't know. I mean, Sean Desai, besides saying the right things and besides having a little bit of tape with a very bad Bears defense a couple of seasons ago, there's not much to go ahead and read into. And so I like the fact that Sirianni and Desai are going to play it close to the chest. They're going to be as vanilla as possible over the next couple of preseason games. But when they get on the football field against Mac Jones week 1, and of course Bill Belichick and the planning that is, they're actually hopefully going to be able to be a little bit surprising and maybe get to Mac Jones a little bit more than they could have by not reviewing any of the Desai film so far in preseason. Give me your thoughts on that. I think it's a good idea, but it'd be very, very interesting to see how it plays out, especially with some new looks starting in regular season versus getting to practice them a little bit more during preseason live action. Before we go back to more Eagles news and rumors, let's talk about your wireless bill. If you've ever wondered why your cell phone bill is so darn high, let me tell you about my partner for today's video, Mint Mobile. Now, you may already know about Mint Mobile based on the funny ads that are done by their owner, Ryan Reynolds. Let me quickly tell you how awesome their service is. Now, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or even data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network, and they're able to keep their costs low because they sell direct to you online. Just click the link down below in my description box or go to that little QR code somewhere down in the corner of today's video if you're interested in the best value in wireless. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and a free mobile hotspot. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. I switched to Mint Mobile over here on my iPhone, and honestly, it feels exactly the same, just a lot cheaper. It's incredible nationwide coverage, the text, the speed, the performance, everything that you would expect from a wireless service, but again, for way, way less. And now viewers on my show can get in on this limited time offer where you get the unlimited plan for normally $30 a month. It goes all the way down to $15 a month. Super easy to get started. Just use the QR code currently on your screen or go down below into my description box and click the link. Helps out the channel and gets you guys some really, really great wireless service. Now, one of the most impressive players from this weekend was obviously Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, and both have been playing well so far during the Cleveland Brown joint practices yesterday. It's fun to look back and see what Jordan Davis had to say about playing next to Jordan Carter. Quote, "We all knew it, he's a dog." And then he said family reunion when talking about, obviously, Jalen Carter's first game and be able to line up together for that 1 or 2 snaps that Jalen Carter was actually in there. He has obviously been performing very well so far during the joint practices with the Cleveland Browns. And obviously, I expect him to get a lot more reps going into the Browns preseason game because he only had 2 in that first game. The second game is kind of your dress rehearsal. Feels like this is your chance to get maybe 10 to 15 snaps overall from Jalen Carter, and that would be very, very fun and impressive. Now, Nolan Smith was very fascinating in that first preseason game because he started at outside linebacker, obviously filling in for Haason Reddick, who did not play. and he was up and down. I saw plenty of tweets from Eagle fans during the course of, Nolan Smith's first couple of snaps saying he looks a little lost, he's getting swallowed up by tackles. He did have that eventual quarterback hit and a nice big hurry on the quarterback. I believe it was in the third quarter, but overall, kind of a lackluster performance by Nolan Smith. Now, we'll get to that more in just one second. First, though, I do want to play this clip where Nolan Smith had his welcome to the NFL moment.
I would say my welcome to the NFL moment, man. Running down on kickoff and coming free and thinking, man, I'm about to make a tackle. And that damn, their returner, I say, oh, man, I'm going to get my ass cursed out for this one. And I knew it. So, man, I would say the return is real. They're a lot better than guys in college just because they got quick feet and they see you. And it's not like some guys just see you in college and take the hit. And he saw me and he gave me a little juke. So, I wish I could have that one back.
Gotta like that. Welcome to the National Football League. And it's funny to see guys who were dominating, opposing defenses or opposing offenses in the college football struggle against second and third teamers. It just shows you how strong and competitive the NFL is, even when you get down to the latter parts of the depth chart. But I'm not worried about Nolan Smith. I do think Nolan Smith is going to be just fine. But I do want to emphasize, I don't think Nolan Smith is going to have a 10-sack season. I know you're saying, Thomas, I didn't either. But there are plenty of Eagle fans out there who think that this is the next best pass rusher this season. Not the next best, Haason Reddick 2 years from now or 3 years from now like I do, but like this year, they're expecting massive things, almost to where they're overhyping him more so than Jalen Carter. And while I don't think that's everybody watching this show or every single Eagle fan out there, there are some people who might be a little bit, I'd say, overhyping him, need to calm down a little bit more. He's got to learn. Now, you look at someone like Jordan Mailata telling E.J. Smith of the Philly Inquirer he's a mini Haason Reddick, elusive, quick, smart player. That all can be true, and he might be able to flash that at times during the season. But if he's going to be the next great pass rusher in Philadelphia, it might take a little bit more learning because the production was not really there, at least in his final year at Georgia. Obviously, the injury too, but before that, at UGA. And I think the first preseason game gave you an example of the talent that is potentially there, but it's a little bit raw, and the Eagles need to kind of, coax it out of him, hopefully, and get it as quickly as possible. Now, whether it's halfway through the year, at the start of next season, year 3, I don't know, but I do think Jalen Carter is in a much better position to contribute quicker than Nolan Smith, and hopefully Nolan Smith can start performing a little bit better, whether it's in joint practices the past couple of days or going into the preseason game against the Cleveland Browns. Again, not to say he's not been impressive. We've heard a lot of good stuff coming out of training camp, but I think a lot of people overhyped those reports from Twitter saying Nolan Smith is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I might have done a little bit too, when in reality, it might have been a little bit less so, at least for the first preseason game, but he's a rookie. He's still learning, and so we're not going to criticize him for it. We're just going to say that maybe the brakes need to be pumped just a little bit on Nolan Smith. Now, over to the final little story I want to mention here, and that is that 6th, or really 5th wide receiver spot. While Covey seems to have that locked down, there was a lot of eye-opening plays by one Tyree Cleveland, a little bit by Joseph Ngata over the past, this past weekend, and in joint practices against the Ravens and against the Cleveland Browns. And right now, it feels like Tyree Cleveland is the leader in the clubhouse. If he keeps performing like he did this past Saturday, how do you get rid of him, right? It's the Travis Fulgham situation all over again. Not supposed to make the roster. This guy's undrafted, and yet during the course of training camp and during the course of the preseason, he's balling out. He's playing really, really good. And so while I think that he still has, a long ways to go, and it's a really crowded room, keep an eye on Tyree Cleveland, Joseph Ngata, and throw in Greg Ward as well, who caught a couple of passes in that preseason opener against the Baltimore Ravens and has the experience and some punt returning experience to go along as well, especially if Covey were to make the roster and then get hurt. Maybe you elevate Greg Ward from the practice squad, who knows? But I love this battle, and I think the wide receiver group is a lot deeper, especially after the first 4 than even I thought going into the start of training camp. Okay, plenty more stuff happening over the next couple of days and weeks here on the Thomas Mott Show. Traveling, as I mentioned, and try to get some shows up from Italy, from Europe. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Thumbs up. But obviously back next week, we're going to get ready to go for the final preseason game. We'll be live for that. Myself and Josh Davis give away the tickets we've been kind of hyping up for the past couple of weeks. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Be sure to stay tuned for that. I'm Thomas Mott, traveling but having a lot of fun. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.